I've spent the past few months on my externship down here in Miami, Florida, specifically in the Brickell location, working at Fil'ia wood-fired cooking, which is a part of the SLS hotel brand, which is growing exponentially every single month. The last several years, they've grown from just being a US-oriented business to now being a global-oriented business, and by the end of this year, 32 more locations will be opened up globally. I worked specifically in the Fil'ia location, which is the Mediterranean cuisine, focusing on an emphasis of our wood-fired cooking. We have several different stations that consist of pasta station, garde-manger station, a fry station, a pizza station, which we use a wood-burning oven, a brick wood-burning oven, as well as what everyone highlights, our wood-burning grill. We generally try to provide a fast experience for every single customer while making them feel right at home and offering a very professional yet family-oriented approach towards cuisine. The main mission at Fil'ia is to provide every single customer with a memorable experience. Doing so, we don't have name tags. This allows for each employee to try extra hard to make sure that their customer remembers their name through some sort of experience that they will remember for the rest of their lives. We do this by providing them with extra offers or opportunities, offering them new ways to try the food that are in general different from what the menu describes, while also offering a very consistent and exponentially growing style of cuisine. This food that we serve is always going to be fresh, it is always going to be made right in front of you, hence our open concept kitchen. Something that we pride ourselves in is every customer will remember that they went to Fil'ia in Brickell. At Fil'ia, we have an open concept kitchen for half of our stations, consisting of the wood-burning grill as well as the wood-burning pizza oven. The pizza oven is the station that I worked on primarily at the beginning of my externship, where I learned to make rustic-style, hand-tossed pizzas that we would make and deliver directly to people sitting at the bar or directly in the restaurant, as well as the wood-burning grill, which was the focus and highlight of most people who arrive at Fil'ia. It consists of making tomahawk steaks, whole fish on the grill, 42-ounce beef steaks, anything of the sort that falls under the Mediterranean style cuisine we offer at Fil'ia. Mainly branzino is our fish. We also do offer salmon, and this is the market that we put out is for the Mediterranean style, while offering a different experience for the guest to be able to witness the entire production of each individual product from these two stations. In the back of the house, where the pasta station, garde-manger station, and the fry station are located, the pasta station is generally one of the most popular stations and the most frequently ordered stations, as it is a Italian/Mediterranean style restaurant. We would offer carbonara, rigatoni, and many other sorts such as linguine cacio e pepe or spaghetti pomodoro, and we would change the way that we make each individual dish to suit every customer's individual needs, such as we do offer gluten-free pasta for those that request it, and every single sauce that we make, such as the rigatoni or the carbonara, are made fresh every single day, as well as the marinara. We try to make almost every single ingredient in the morning or at night for the following day. It was something that I found very interesting and I was able to pride myself upon while working there. The fry station was very popular, as it would mainly be sides or appetizers that each customer would order, such as calamari or our crispy potatoes, which I will get to further along, as well as we would offer the chicken parmesan, which I thought was one of the most high value to high quality products there. And it was in general a very delicious station to work at. I got to eat pretty often. And then the garde-manger station, where we would make our charcuterie boards, we would do all the salads, we would make various customers' requests to differentiate and change our recipes based on their needs and their diets, such as making an anchovy-less or saltless Caesar salad for someone that doesn't have the request that flavor to be taken out, or they need it based on their cholesterol intake. We offer many different types of charcuterie cuts. I was always the one that would go at the beginning of my shift to go up to the meat slicer and cut the prosciutto or the coppa, and it was in general a very great learning experience for me when I worked at the Garmontier station. At Fil'ia, we pride ourselves in making every single aspect of the dish, either that day or the night prior, for the morning staff, such as all of our sauces are made in the morning for the night, all of our pasta is made fresh in the morning, all of our mussels are shucked and delivered every single morning to provide as fresh of a flavor and to offer work to every single person in the morning, as some mornings don't get as busy as the nights do. Something that I was able to see the entire process through was the breaking down of each fish, or the breaking down of each chicken that we would put on the grill or on the saute station, such as our half chicken. I was the one who would fabricate it and then create the brine for it while I was fabricating, and brine it until the PM crew showed up. I often worked PM shifts, so I was generally the one to remove the chickens or the fish from the brine, and I would be the one to vacuum seal them. So I got to experience from the beginning to the end of every single aspect and every single dish that I worked with at Fil'ia, which is something that I am very glad I can say. One specific recipe that I'll break down into individual steps is the crispy potatoes, as it does have a little more to it than most people would think when they're just the average customer there. It consists of fully baking whole potatoes in the oven at the beginning, and then letting them cool completely, and then breaking them into smaller chunks that are bite-sized or close to it for each portion. And then from there it would be cooled and held until it is ordered, so it is an a la carte style cuisine, as almost everything else in the kitchen is. Actually, I would say everything in the kitchen is a la carte. We would then take a pint's worth of it and fry it to a crispy consistency, and then it would be added to a mixing bowl where I would season it accordingly with salt and pepper, unless the customer requested differently. And then I would coat it in a decent amount of butter. I'd say it was in general about 2 to 3 tablespoons worth, and mix that all together evenly. And then from there you would add about two handfuls worth of our Parmesan / Pecorino cheese mix, which we grind fresh every single day, and then it is mixed until it is coated evenly. While the crispy potatoes are being fried, you also throw in a stick of rosemary to fry along with it, and that stick stays inside of the mixing bowl throughout the mixing process, and then the stick itself is discarded prior to it being served. So that way it is fried with a rosemary flavor. The rosemary flavor gets enveloped amongst the other salt, pepper, and butter and cheese flavorings. This is a dish that I've learned that if you do not salt it properly or do not pepper it properly, or in general you just don't season it properly, it can come out completely different from the desired taste. And that is something that I've really learned to appreciate, and I've learned to take in every other recipe following my acknowledgement of the seasoning of this dish. At Fil'ia, it's very important to have consistency throughout flavor when someone orders a dish that is the normal way it is put on the menu, such as brining our chickens every morning or brining our fish every morning. I was able to see every individual step of this process and saw the value of creating a consistent base to every single product. It was very important to season it to the proper weight of each individual ingredient. It was very important that they were brined for a very exact amount of time, such as the chicken, we were supposed to brine it for 4 hours and 12 minutes, no more, no less, to provide this exact flavor with the rosemary and this deep pepper flavor that we got along with the lemon that was consistent in it. This allowed me to truly appreciate how every single flavor goes from start to finish, so that way the brine creates this flavor for the chicken that after it's put on the grill is accentuated based on the smokiness of the charcoal. On my first day at Fil'ia, as I was walking towards my place of work for the very first time, I was very nervous as well as less confident with my abilities in the kitchen. And I can say with assertion that as I continued to work hard every single day and come in each day, I felt myself getting faster and more confident at each station that I worked, trying my hardest to become as well-rounded as possible, working on different stations as many days as I could. I have definitely felt myself advance as a culinarian. I have felt myself become less stressed with the thought of more and more tickets flooding in, as I know that every single ticket that comes in is replacing one that I just put out, and that is something that I've come to terms with, as that's something that I've signed up for being in a culinary industry. It is the stress that drives me, and I love it so much. Professionally and personally, I've definitely grown. My confidence has raised in the kitchen. I've felt myself become a more refined cook. I can definitely say for a fact that every single shift that I would come into, I would feel myself getting faster, and I became more comfortable. As I became more comfortable with the dishes that I was learning at the beginning, about halfway through, I was working the fry station, and then the person on my left working the pasta station had to help in the front. So it was reliant on me to work both stations at the same time. And doing so, I felt something click. And when it did, I was able to push out everything at the proper time that it needed to be put out according to other stations that had dishes on that ticket. I felt myself just almost become a machine in terms of putting out food the exact way it's meant to be cooked, and yet not being held back by the fact that there were just more tickets coming in and more tickets coming in. I've felt myself really grow professionally, and that I have seen the ins and outs of the financial side of the kitchen as well as the culinary side of the kitchen, and how the two aspects work together so distinctly, and that without one or the other, a business would fall. At the beginning of my externship, the first week and a half or so, I saw myself trying to get out as quickly as possible because I was either tired or relieved that the shift was over. And then following that first week and a half, I saw myself staying later and later every single shift, sitting out front with the head chef talking about the profit and loss statements, looking at his Excel sheets, trying to figure out what goes on after close, which consisted of researching the profitability of each night and how they correlate to each other. I was lucky enough to be a part of the busiest time of the year and one of the busiest 3 months Fil'ia had ever seen in its existence, and I'm grateful for that. It allowed me to truly see the business grow, and I was able to see what items on the menu relate to profit and what items on the menu should be removed, and they were removed based on the fact that I simply saw them ordered less, and they were, because either they were too expensive or they were a little bit too outlandish for the average customer. And as I would sit there with the chef after these late hours at night, he would explain to me exactly why we take these menus off or add these menu items on, and it really got the juices flowing in my head about what it is that makes a kitchen go financially. And it's all about making sure that each product works with another product, not only through flavors but also financially, because you don't want someone ordering all this one item that we don't generally make profit off of. I mean, we're not going to frown upon it because they're the customer, but in general you want to make a balanced menu that people will order various products regardless of their price. I asked my chef one day if I could be the one to fill out a profit and loss statement, and he at first reluctantly said yes, I could attempt to do it. And he went to go help with the dishwashers in the back at the very end of the night, and when he returned, I had a complete profit and loss statement for him on the previous night's engagements in the kitchen, as well as the current night that we had just experienced. And I also had the differentials between the two of them, the total sales, and these were both weekdays, yet they were both very busy. I was able to show him that my knowledge, and through that he gained an interest in showing me more and more, such as the average check and how that differs based on the time of year or the season or even just the day of the week. And through this, I began to look at different menu items, start to look at the receipts of deliveries and see the profit percentage, the gross profit percentage, the total cost of producing it, including labor costs. All these were on the profit and loss statement that I had filled out once, that I took a picture of to remind myself every single time I worked with something to minimalize waste, to just guarantee profit. And this is something that my chef definitely did notice, and he took a liking to the fact that I saw it in more of a financial aspect than just cooking food. This is something that I've always been interested in, as I am more business oriented than I am culinary oriented. I definitely have enjoyed the experience down here through not only a business side, but also through the culinary side. I will say with assertion that through watching the financial health of the business that I worked in, Fil'ia, grow exponentially every single day. Every day was busier than the last, regardless of the day. And that's something that I generally don't see in many places, and I was really happy to be a part of that. One of the many late nights that the chef and I experienced where we were working on the profit and loss statements together, he came across the opportunity to ask me the question of if there's anything that I would change with the business in the way that I've seen it, specifically in the aspect of what I would take off the menu, what I would add to the menu, and they actually did come with a conclusive decision based upon my answer. We had an item on the menu, we had a rack of lamb chops, and it was in general, in my opinion, a little overpriced, and I made my opinion of this aware, and the chef agreed with me that not many people order it based on the price alone, regardless of how good it tastes and how good it looks. And due to this, we realized that we were ordering more lamb racks per week than we would sell, and we would have to get rid of most. And due to this, they actually removed the lamb racks from the menu, to the best of my knowledge, or they're using them in the banquets kitchen for the events now and continuing the order to come through. I was often asked by many people in management if there's anything that I see that is problematic or anything that I would change to the management or the way the restaurant is run, as they are always interested in feedback from a fresh set of eyes, especially one that comes from the Culinary Institute of America, which I humbly told them that it doesn't really affect much as I'm only a mere student, but I gave them my peace of mind anyway. I often saw a heavy split between the front of the house and the back of the house with a lack of communication. And I told them this, and that I see it as a common issue that heavily affects the output and the pace of a night, by either the front of the house not coming to the back in the kitchen and telling us, hey, just letting you know I got an 8 top, or hey, I know we're almost closed, but I have a table and they'd really like to order something. They never would do that. They would just put the order through regardless of where we were in either our cleanup or if we had much of that product left. And that's something that I definitely gave them my peace of mind about, and said that there needs to be more communication between the front of the house and the back of the house.